Am I the asshole? For refusing to sign anything while my eyes are blindfolded? Ever since I got out of the hospital for chronic problems, my husband has been introducing me to some games every evening. One game used to be about doing things while my eyes are blindfolded. Involving puzzles, Rubik's Cube, shaped objects etc. We'd take turns to do it just for entertainment. Just a couple of days ago, he's been trying to get me to sign papers while wearing a blindfold. I refuse to do it because he never lets me take a look at what I'm signing neither before or after. He says that he was just trying to see if I could leave the same signature every time I sign, but I couldn't help feel uncomfortable. I told him I don't want to play this game unless and until he shows me the papers first. He said, "Never mind then," and stopped bringing it up. Last night, he tried to convince me to give it a try and even volunteered to go first. I asked if he was going to show me what I was going to sign and he made a face and said no, it's the rules and I should respect them. I refused and he kept on about how I keep acting worried and suspicious for no reason. He said I clearly don't trust him and he was hurt by finding that out now after everything we've been through. We had an argument and I told him to drop it and not bring it up again, period. He was mad despite saying it was no big deal. He was obviously upset with me and kept talking about how I don't trust him and that I was out of line to assume or suspect anything from him like this. I might be paranoid but I couldn't help it. I do think I was taught to him after he stood by my side when my own family didn't even visit. Not the asshole, not the asshole, not the asshole. This is extremely suspicious face with raised eyebrow. Obviously he wants you to sign on something important. Financial documents, loan, will, property, divorce papers? List could be endless. Do not sign on anything blindfolded. I would add do not sign on any blank paper from now on. Not the asshole. The fact that he won't let you see your signature is a huge red flag. I'm concerned that all of the games he introduced you to were just a way of conditioning you to believe the signature is innocent. Op. Please be sure you tell a trusted person what has happened. Perhaps an attorney can help you draft a document that says that anything you did sign since you left the hospital was not signed under your own free will. Your husband needs to know that other people are familiar with these games he has been playing. Not the asshole. This is fucking creepy. If he really just wanted to see if you could sign your name the same time, he'd let you see the paper. I wouldn't drop this, op. He's up to something really fishy. Also, straight up gaslighting you by taking the focus off his creepy game to you not trusting him. Not the asshole. Ask to see those papers. They exist. Do not take no for an answer. If you see those papers, you might not decide to divorce. If you don't see them, get a divorce. Not the asshole. Something is very fishy here. Not the asshole, but if I was you, I would say yes. Pretend you're gonna sign and quickly grab the paper, if that is an option of course. You really need to know what is going on. This is really disturbing. Not the asshole. Hugie red flag like WTF. Change hospitals if you can, hoping things get better for you. Most definitely not the asshole. This sounds like something you'd hear about in a true crime retelling, next step being some sort of sneaky poisoning. Am I the asshole for not putting my husband's children in my will? My husband Jack and I married later in life. We were both in our 50s. It was a second marriage for both us. He has 3 children. I don't have any biological children, but I am still very close to my former stepson Thomas that I helped raise. We were both very well off financially. Jack more than me. Jack owned his own business and was up front that he intended that business to be left to his children. We signed a prenup before our wedding that basically said we each get to keep what we brought into the marriage. We kept our finances separate, though we both contributed to a joint account for household expenses, which we split 50-50. We did our wills at this time. Jack left everything to his children and I left mine to Thomas. We were both aware of what the other had done and we were fine with it. Jack's business went under about 4 years ago. He was desperate to keep the business going and poured all his savings into it. The business had been his grandfather's and then his father's, and he was determined to be able to hand it down to his children. He ended up losing almost everything. He was completely devastated. Standard of living wise, not much changed except that I am paying 100% of household expenses. I love him and I am fine with this. I had a health scare about a month ago where I realized that if I died, Jack would be left with nothing as my will gives everything I own to Thomas. I told Jack that I was planning to change my will. My plan was to put a third of my assets into a trust for Thomas's children. He has 2 currently that both call me Nana, a third directly to Thomas, and a third in trust for Jack. I would set it up so that Jack would receive a generous monthly check, but that after he died the assets in the trust would go to Thomas. I did it that way because I want Jack taken care of while he is alive, but after that I want it to go to Thomas, not Jack's kids. Jack is furious that his children aren't going to receive anything. He kept pointing out that I have 3 step-children, not just one former one. Why are his kids getting nothing and Thomas everything? I should say that by the time we got together Jack's children were grown. One already had a child and another was married. Other than the occasional holiday I have never lived with Jack's kids. While he is not mine biologically, Thomas is my son in every way that counts. While I get along with Jack's kids, we are not close at all. Jack is threatening to leave me over this. He keeps saying that if I don't care about his kids that means I don't care about him. I've told him that is nonsense and that I don't respond well to ultimatums. We had planned to leave our assets separately before we were ever married, but now that he doesn't have money suddenly he wants me to leave my money to his kids. Am I the asshole for not wanting to? Not the asshole. We kept our finances separate. You kept your finances separate. Jack left everything to his children and I left mine to Thomas. He knew of the deal. Now he is changing because his financial situation changed. He was the one making more in the first place, so he did not care about your money. But because now he has less, he cares about your money. Would he have added your stepson to his will and divided his assets 4 ways if you had lost a lot of money? I seriously doubt it given his behavior. Easy fix. Don't change your will, leave it as is, everything to Thomas. And tell hubby to get a job or leave. You don't need that crap at your age. Not the asshole. Hubby has shown his true colors. Thank God you have a prenup. Always backfires of the other party when they lose everything and now want what's yours. Holy crap, Jack is entitled quite much. It's your money, and his kids have zero entitlement to it. Not the asshole, and if he wants to leave you over this then you really get to see his true colors. Not the asshole. You are sticking with what you initially agreed. Why should he get to change the rules because his circumstances changed? What if you had lost all of your money? Would he then agree to give something to Thomas? I suspect the answer to that is no. Not the asshole. Who would step up if your husband were to pass and you were needing support? For example, were hospitalized, needed placement in a home, caregivers set up. The person, who would jump in to do that would be who I would leave my money to. It does not sound like you have that relationship with his sons. Sounds like Jack should have not blown through his savings to save a business that it sounds like he failed to save anyway. Not your responsibility to take care of his already grown children that you were never once fiscally or emotionally responsible for. Not the asshole. Funny how he was fine with the prenup and your will until he needed money for his kids to inherit. Location flag, location flag, location flag, location flag, location flag. Keep your old will that leaves everything to Thomas. Not the asshole. Why is he getting upset with this rewrite and not when it was originally introduced? Update. Am I the asshole for no longer bringing dinner for my wife after she claimed I never cook? Original, post. At first wasn't going to post another update, but since things have gotten better, why not? I didn't show my wife this post like some suggested until a few days later, but before that she wanted to talk before bed. And she apologized for how she's been behaving with me, when she made those jokes and let her friend say things about me, then how she was acting afterwards. In reality she knew she did wrong, but when I called her out it made her defensive and she realizes how she was acting like a child after knowing how much I do for our family. That's when I showed her the post. And opened up about something that was mentioned by me in my comments. How it really hit a nerve for me, making it seem like I'm a lousy father, husband, when my dad was exactly that. He abandoned me and my mom. She knows how important it is for me to be as involved as possible when our kids were born because I never wanted to be like him. So her making it seem like that's how I am brought up some feelings. Telling her this really made her feel like she fucked up big time. She wouldn't stop apologizing. She promised she'd never put me down that way. And honestly, I think she's shown that she meant her apology. For a week she wanted to be the one making dinner for everyone so I'd have some time to relax after work. It was nice, but also missed making meals for my family. Cooking for my kids is my own way of expressing my love for them, so we're back to that as well. I feel like my wife has more than shown how sorry she is and appreciates what I also do for this family. Last time we had lunch with her friend a few days ago on my day off, she even brought it up. As mad as I was when it happened, it's nice to see she's made an effort to make amends. The support I got here from here was very sweet. Appreciate feeling heard when it felt like my wife wasn't at the time. I am really glad things worked out for you regarding this. Cooking is definitely my way of showing love to those I care about as well. Keep being a great father and continue what you do regarding your cooking. What a brilliant example of how to heal a relationship. Well done on communicating how important this is to you. I'm glad she recognizes how important this is to you and is taking real action to fix the damage. Did she set the record straight with Stacy? Oh, I am happy that worked out. I do love some good old-fashioned communication. I hope everything keeps getting better as time goes on. I liked and remembered the original post, so it was cool to see this update. Glad everything worked out. I'm glad your wife really heard you and took it to heart. We all make mistakes, but not so many of us really make amends. This is how mature adults interact. They sit and talk about their feelings and are honest and apologize when they make a mistake. Not gonna lie, I get a weird vibe from her friend. Misery loves company, and I wouldn't be surprised if your wife's friend makes it awkward when your wife praises you or doesn't go along with the joke. You should both be wary of this friend. I think she might be poisoning the well. Your wife owning her behavior and having a wake-up call is great, but there are definitely people who resent the happiness of others and will do whatever they can to ruin it. Am I the asshole for telling my old nanny that my parents haven't hired a new nanny since she left? I, F14, have 4 siblings. I really don't know why my parents decided to have so many kids considering they're never home and they don't know what to do with kids, so we've had nannies our entire lives. We had Nina, 19, for like 2 years. She had 2 kids and lived in our guest room. Nina was kinda like a big sister to me. She was probably my favorite nanny. She moved in with a family member a few months ago and my parents haven't gotten a new nanny after her because I'm old enough to help out. Nina's called me and texted me to check on us since she left, but I kinda left that part out. Nina came to visit her friends a couple weeks ago and I had surgery while she was here, so she spent that day with me. She eventually asked if I liked our new nanny and I told her that my parents haven't hired a nanny because I'm old enough to help out. She ended up calling CPS and my parents are really stressed out, so I wanted to know if I was the asshole for telling her. Edit. A lot of people are talking about Nina and seemed pretty amazed by her, so she said she's willing to answer any questions y'all have about her life, as long as it's not too personal. You are not the asshole. Nina would be in a position to know the family dynamics well and know what it takes to look after your 4 siblings. She did the right thing. You are 14, too young to be a nanny for your siblings. Not the asshole. You aren't responsible for your parents' siblings. You are still a child yourself and shouldn't be left alone taking care of 4 kids. You nanny did the right thing as she knows how difficult it is and was rightly worried about you kids. Don't worry, your parents have to start being responsible adults and they are being caught in the act. Not the asshole, you just told her the truth. The truth made her worry enough to make a call, but it's not your fault for simply telling the truth about not having a nanny. Not the asshole. It is extremely inappropriate of your parents to force one of their kids to watch their other kids all the time. Even if you were an adult, I would call this abuse, but at 14. This is awful for you and also dangerous for you siblings. You have very good typing, writing skills, so I'm sure you're smart and good at taking care of your siblings, so please don't take this as an insult but number 14, or even 16-year-old is mature enough to constantly watch young children. Myself at 14 likely would have actually put a baby outside if I had to watch one, so like. Yikes. Not the asshole. You did nothing wrong, you just told her the truth. If it lead to her calling CPS or it leads to your parents getting in trouble, none of it is on you. And given you just had surgery and your parents didn't have anyone to look after you or your siblings and that she was apparently 17 when they hired her, I suspect Nina did the right thing. Not the asshole. Expecting a 14-year-old child to take on the duties of caring for 4 other children is ridiculous. Your parents have every right to be stressed, they brought this on themselves. You told the truth. Not the asshole. You did nothing wrong. And even though at 14 you should be able to watch your siblings for a short amount of time, I feel that Nina probably knows exactly how things are at your home. So if she's worried and called CPS, I suspect there's expected more from you than healthy at your age. You say your parents are never home. How old are your siblings? Who takes them to school and home? Who does the cooking and cleaning and who bathes them and puts them in bed? Not the asshole. You weren't to know she would call CPS or that CPS would look with disfavor on negligent parents dumping care of 4 children on their 14-year-old daughter. Your former nanny has good instincts, IMHO.